Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I'm Dr. Watkins from yourblackworld.net and theblackbusinessschool.com. I am here in Lexington, Kentucky. This is the place where I used to go to college. It's a place where I have mixed feelings. I had a lot of good experiences here, and I also had some experiences here that were not so good. And it's funny. When you come back to a space where a lot of things really began for you. I really think about my own life, and I talk to my students about this in my class called Black Keys to Greatness. You can find out more at blackkeystogreatness.com. In the class, one of the things I talk about is that a lot of the things you do when you're young, they stay with you for the rest of your life. And I think about when I was 18, 19 years old, I made certain choices. I made choices to really change my life, particularly academically. Academically, I had a daughter when I was 18, and that was when I just said, I think I want to. I don't want to be struggling. I don't want my daughter to not have what she needs. I want to have a good future, not a bad one. And so at that time, I remember I started making investments in my life that to this day that are paying off to this day, that are actually that I'm still living off of, today, based on things I did when I was young. And I feel bad for young people who are not taught to make those investments, who are not taught to make a sacrifice in the present to have something in the future. Because what happens is when you don't sacrifice in the present, you're pretty much throwing away your future. You're making your future harder. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're gonna have to work 10 times harder than everybody else, just to get by, just to make ends meet, just to get very, very basic things. And I don't really think that's the life that you want for yourself, whether you're young or you're old. Because even if you're in your 40s or 50s, you still got years in front of you. And so you still have to make investments for the future. And so anyway, when I think about University of Kentucky, I'm speaking. I'm not speaking at the university. I'm speaking at First Bragtown Church. If you want to know more, you can go to the drboycewatkinstour.com. I just think about it. I think about the racism of the school. A lot of things haven't changed. They still don't hire black professors nearly as much as they'll bring in black basketball players. You still have the exploitation, still the old plantation style mentality. White people run it, white people at the top, everybody else, black people at the bottom. Things haven't changed that much. And it's why I don't give money to the school. I never will. I'll give money to an HBCU because HBCUs need the money. Universities don't need the money. They already steal billions of dollars from black people from the sports programs. So whenever they call me and ask me for money, I just politely say no, thank you, because I'm not interested in giving money to a place that's already robbing black people. Sure, they give a few scholarships. I mean, God bless them for that. That's nice. And of course there are black students that are here at this school, but there are more black students at HBCUs. There are more black people outside of the white universities who need help. And so that's kind of where I put my energy because, hey, look, if you're going to the white university, then the white people have the obligation of providing money for you. They're already making hundreds of millions of dollars every year from black athletes. So that money should be going toward helping black students. Unfortunately, it doesn't always do that. So now if I can support a student directly, I might do things like that. But I don't really believe in giving money to these big institutions. I think they don't just rob black people; they actually rob the American people because the tuition's gone way, way up. Student loan debt has gone super, super sky high. A lot of people, young people, are going to die in debt. They're never going to get out of debt. They're going to be in debt for the rest of their lives. They're going to be slaves to this debt because they're going to feel so much pressure to pay the debt that they're going to end up taking jobs they don't want to take, doing things they don't want to do, living their lives in a rut they don't want to be in. Also, they can work their way out of an amount of debt that really was built on an illusion. It's almost like I was thinking this morning as I was doing some slides, some PowerPoint slides for a class I'm creating for the Black Business School. And I was thinking about things like Beats by Dre headphones and how they cost $14 to make, but yet they sell the headphones for between $200 and six or $700. And I thought that was really interesting because if you think about it, imagine somebody who goes deep in debt to buy Beats by Dre headphones for the whole family, $3,000 worth of headphones or $2,000 or $1,000 worth of whatever. Well, I mean, you're paying back debt, you're paying back all this money over time, but what are you really paying for? I mean, there's a difference between paying back debt on something that has value, that's going to grow in value over time, versus paying back debt on something that is an illusion, right? When somebody done got you convinced you to pay $200 for some $14 headphones, then you're getting $14 worth of product and you're getting $186 worth of an illusion. And so you're literally paying back an illusion. And so I think that the same thing is true with universities. I teach classes in the Black Business School that are every bit as good as the classes I taught when I taught at Syracuse, which is 50,000 a year. And what that's interesting is that Syracuse will charge you 50,000 a year, whereas I can charge $100 a month or 150 a month or whatever, or some flat rate. The boot camp I think is just a couple $100 or about 250, between 250 and 300. And so it's like it doesn't really cost $50,000 for you to get an education, but they've convinced you that that's what it's worth, that that's what the cost should be. And I just think that that's again, it's a mind trick. It's a mind trick because they know that you need to go to college. You feel like you have to go. You feel like you can't be successful without going to a university. And I'm not saying that universities can't add value to your life. They do. I mean, I had a lot of fun in college. I learned a lot, but I also could have learned a lot on the internet. I mean, if the internet had really been around like it is now, I mean, I could pick up my cell phone and learn more on a cell phone than a lot of people learn in college. If I'm studying every day, if I'm spending 6 hours a day studying and reading documentation on my cell phone, I'm going to get better than a college education of somebody who just goes to college and parties for 4 years, gets drunk every other weekend. I mean, that's the other thing, funny thing too about college is that it's really this interesting luxury item where, people pretty much get an opportunity to spend $100,000 chilling. I mean, sure they're working. Some of them they do a little bit of work. They got to get ready for finals and all that, but it ain't as intense as it could be. I mean, I was intense as a college student, but even myself, I wasn't as intense as I could have been. But I mean, I was working a couple jobs. I was studying 5-6 hours a day because I was like, well, why not? I mean, while I'm here, I need to shove information into my brain. I need to be actually an intelligent man when I walk out of here. I shouldn't just be a person who thinks that because I got a piece of paper, I'm somehow smarter than other people. And so anyway, I just really think that we got to really reshape and reframe what education really means. I talked to a single mom the other day. She works well. She's one of the partners that I work with on something that she does a service for me basically for my business, and she was telling me that she was thinking about homeschooling her son. And we were just sort of talking about it, and I said, well, really, a lot of education comes down to mastering the three R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. If a person is reading every day and they're writing constantly and they're doing math constantly, they can then pretty much learn whatever they want to learn. Because if you're reading every day and you're reading magazines and books and everything else, you're going to have knowledge shoved in your brain. And then let's say on top of that, you're running a business with your parents or with your friends and you're traveling around the world. Well, you're getting a very good education. You're being exposed to a lot of ideas. Like you can't tell me, for example, I don't know if Beyonce went to college or not, but I would be very surprised if Beyonce wasn't at least somewhat educated due to the fact that she's traveling all around the world being exposed to different cultures. That's exactly what they do with you in school. They expose you to different things. And they say, oh, here's what they do in India. Here's what they do in China. So, and then the biology and the chemistry and the physics and all that, and the ancient British or was it ancient British literature, whatever the hell it is. You don't use that. You don't use that stuff on a daily basis when you become an adult. When you become an adult, what do? You read, you're writing, and you're doing math so nobody robs you so you can pay your bills. That's kind of it. So anyway, those are like random reflections on education as I'm sitting here at in Lexington, Kentucky, thinking about how I feel about even being back here. I have very mixed feelings. It was a good experience in certain ways. It was where it all began, but I don't feel that the university really helped me become a better person because they made it harder. The way they helped me was by abusing me. Sometimes if you overcome adversity, again, we talk about this too in Black Keys to Greatness. Sometimes if you overcome adversity, it makes you stronger. Right? And so it makes you almost want to thank the people who put you through it. It makes you want to thank the haters. It makes you want to thank the people that got in the way and the people that tried to stop you because that made you more determined, right? But on the other hand, should you really thank them? No, you really shouldn't. I mean, so it's kind of a mixed bag, So in a way, I would thank the university for the fact that I wasn't comfortable. As a Black person, I had to fight over, a lot of obstacles, but it did make me stronger and smarter at the same time. I never knew what it was like to actually have a college experience where I enjoyed from a social standpoint where I was. I didn't feel comfortable at that university. I remember when I was 24, 25, as a grad student, I remember us protesting. I led a protest. Um, well, I was one of the leaders. I wasn't the only leader. I was one of the leaders of a protest where a black girl was attacked with a knife. And it was over one of my articles. I written an article in the campus paper, and the girl, her name was Tanya something. I think it was Tanya Clay. It might have been, and she wrote an article basically, supporting me. And most of the articles that were written, or most of the not articles, excuse me, letters that were written to the editor were anti-voice, because all the white kids hated me, and again, racial tradition, right? So because black people cheered for me, white people were like, "Oh, that old nigga," blah blah blah. But then liberal white people backed me, and conservative black people either disagree with me outright, or they agree with me, but they were too scared to really say anything. So I had to deal with a lot of scary Negroes, who would just kind of warn me, well, Massa gonna come get you if you keep on talking like that. I know that what you're saying is right, boys, but you're gonna get killed. So I had to deal with some of that coonery, but I didn't really pay attention to that. And so, anyway, as I'm just thinking about University of Kentucky and my time here, it just leads to a lot of interesting reflections. And I think the general rule, if you're looking for a kind of a message out of this, is to say, whatever your swag is, whatever your stride is, whatever you're trying to do, don't stop. Like, don't stop. Just know that the adversity is just part of the process. That's just part of the game. That's natural. It's going to happen no matter what. It's nature's way of kind of pushing you and making you stronger, shaping you into who you want to be. And and at the same time, I'm also a big fan of just critical thinking. Don't let anybody tell you what the truth is. You figure it out for yourself, and then you make a decision based on that. So for me, my truth is that I don't really feel, if I'm going through college now, or if I've got a child who's being educated, I don't feel like they need institutions to be educated. Institutions are not always necessary to get what you need. So if the institutions you're around are not giving you what you desire, just know that you do have the option to be free, whether it's economically, intellectually, or whatever it is. So I just choose to be free. I like being educated in an institutionalist sort of framework. We created the blackbusinessschool.com to make it into an HBCU authentically, where it's truly black. We can say whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. We don't have bureaucracy to worry about. And people get educated. Students that come in and they watch the videos and read the content, they get educated, and it doesn't cost them a whole lot of money. So at the end of the day, you got to think about what education really means, and where you can actually get it. So anyway, I'm done. I'm about to get out of here and get to work. If you want to check out some of the other tour venues, after Lexington, we're going to Denver, Colorado. Then we're going to Las Vegas, and then New York City. So you can go to the drboycewatkinstour.com. That's the drboycewatkinstour.com. After that, I think I'm gonna take about 3 weeks off. I talked to Dame Dash last night, and we're working on a sitcom right now. I can't tell you guys too much about it just yet, but it's got some good people in it. I guess I can drop it. I can mention the names in it. Miguel Nunez. I think he was Joanna Man. He did a bunch of other stuff. Kim Whitley, Guy Torrey, Nicole Murphy, and some other people. So we're doing the sitcom, and we've also got Steel Justice, which is the show with J.B. Brown and who was in it? Claudia Jordan and Richard T. Jones, Richard Brooks, who's from Being Mary Jane. I think Richard T. Jones had been in a lot of good stuff. He was in Concussion. I know that. He was also in Why Did I Get Married, and other things like that. And Dame Dash is in actually that one as well. As you know, Dame and I work together on a lot of good stuff, and we've also got our movie Too Honorable coming out this summer. We're going to tour it ourselves. We're going to distribute a lot of it ourselves, but we might make partnerships as well. But a lot of what we do is going to be our own hustle. And this is actually what we teach about in our class called Intelligent Boss Moves. Dame and I, we're real big on independent, but not independent in the sense that you're smaller and weaker, but independent in the sense that you don't have the stifling corporate bureaucracy sort of keeping you from doing what needs to be done. Because I feel like we can't operate on a corporate level. It's just we're just able to do whatever we want. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, I think that's it. Was there anything else I want to tell you guys about? Oh, the Black Wealth Bootcamp. The Black Wealth Bootcamp starts June 4th. In case you're wondering, I'm very open in class in terms of talking in detail about every single project we're working on. So if you want to join, you can visit theblackwellthbootcamp.com. That's theblackwellthbootcamp.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Take care, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace.